After a deceptively calm race start to the 2013 Talisker Whisky Atlantic Challenge, all 16 crews were given a brutal introduction into ocean racing at its most savage.
When the first storm hit the fleet, early on they had winds coming from one direction and waves from another direction, which creates a very confused sea and makes it very difficult. When the weather is bad, the waves come together a lot closer, so you don't get as much of a respite. With some of the wind speeds, they did get some breaking waves as well. It would have come as a real shock for a lot of people.
2 weeks of storms, gales exceeding 40 knots plus, and waves measuring 5 metres forced the retirement of 3 teams: Neas Energy, Astro Sweden and Atlantic Splash. The latter 2 having to be airlifted to safety by the Canaries rescue helicopter. We caught up with 3 of the 5-man Atlantic Splash crew at their rowing base in Worthing, England.
It just got very extreme. If you can imagine being in a washing machine, that's a bit how it felt.
I've never experienced anything as tough as that, and you can't get off, you can't stop it. You just have to cope, you have to deal with it. It's a waiting game, but like no other waiting game you would have ever played before.
The whole of the aft cabin basically got full of water. So we basically come to a situation where the wrong part failed at the wrong time and caused a massive issue.
We were sinking from the inside out, not from the outside in. So it was a strange feeling, but we couldn't have continued rowing.
Once we'd all been airlifted up into the helicopter, we all got up there and I think we all cried at that point. I know I did, and it just was hard, yeah, really hard.
Very, very difficult decision to abandon the boat. So much time and effort had gone into this, and for it to be taken away from you 5 days in, it's every boat person's nightmare. We knew it was the right decision.
Meanwhile, Neas Energy had survived the initial onslaught, but as the gales raged relentlessly, their boat rolled. Shaken by this experience, the pair's team soon ran into more trouble.
The waves were huge. They were absolutely enormous. If you imagine like a terraced house, they were as high as the roof.
All I remember is the boat started surfing down the wave and just basically got plugged at the bottom of it, and then the back of the whole boat came over the bow, and I was thrown out of the boat again. That was scary. You're dealing with kind of surviving and trying to think, how quickly can I get to the surface, which way is up, how long can I hold my breath, am I still attached to the boat? All of those things are rushing through your mind when you're under the water.
Thankfully, he pops up, and I think within a minute I said, Nick, for me I need to call it. I'm not willing, or I'm not prepared to risk, leaving my wife and kids at home without a husband and a dad.
Eventually, a passing cargo ship rescued Neas Energy. As for the remaining 13 teams, the ferocious weather may have eased off, but they've been assaulted by flying fish, sharks, giant waves and blistering heat as they journey to the finish line off the coast of Antigua in the Caribbean.